Thank you so much, Alina. Thanks, Jeff Adams, our master host, who's doing an amazing job in the background here, rather than all the other hosts. Also, some amazing ideas and content. If you haven't been listening, you're going to have to go back and check out some great ideas as well. As I mentioned, Alina Vincent, who was just presenting, was talking about setting up a challenge, which is a really cool factor in terms of developing great content going forward and how you can actually leverage your position and that sort of thing. So my name is Doyle Buehler, and I run a regular Be Live TV show called the Digital Leadership Breakthrough Show, where I talk about 3 times a week about digital strategy, digital leadership with guests, and then digital discovery, where I answer specific digital marketing question and answers. So today I'm going to be talking about organizing your content and how to amplify it. And this has actually been it's been good because there's been a lot of consistent talk about in the Be Live birthday. Oh yeah, by the way, happy birthday, Be Live. I drew you guys a birthday cake, so hopefully you like that. But the content has been absolutely amazing. And what it is it's organizing you to say, hey, it's not just about the Facebook Live event or the Be Live TV event or whatever you want to call it. It's what you actually do afterwards that's really the most important, because as you know, it's quite a short little piece, and that's where you can actually start to leverage that and how you can actually start to use it. So I typically have like 3 levels of content here, and hopefully if I can just get my screen here up, get the agenda rolling, and see if I can pop that up there. Doesn't want to show. Jeff, I'm not sure. I can't show my agenda, but that's okay. If not, I'll just keep going. But there's 3 core parts that I want to talk about just to help you sort of slice these things down a little bit better, because it can become quite overwhelming. There's lots to talk about. There's lots to learn. There's lots to actually strategize about and that sort of thing. But the first is your tier 1, and that's your initial content. So that's the content that you can deal with directly after producing your live performance. The second one is tier 2, and that's what you'd call your secondary content. And I'm going to get into that in terms of how do you actually grow this and how do you actually make it work. And the third one is obviously your tertiary content. So this is content that's not super important, but you know what, you probably heard the term evergreen content, or content that you can kind of rely on going forward. So you have to have those 3 types of content in any sort of content strategy that you develop as well. Because again, it helps you split things up. It makes it a little less mumbo jumbo, and it makes it a lot more sort of organized, so that you as the person providing that content can actually organize your thoughts and organize your ideas and see how things go to get to that place. Oh, cool. Got my agenda back up and running. So tier 1 is initial content, tier 2 is secondary, and third is tertiary content. What's really important is before we actually get into this, and because a lot of people have covered some of these concepts, what I really wanted to talk about was what kind of strategy can you actually do to provide the content. And some of the amazing speakers have talked about, you know, your specific value, your why, and that's really important, because if you don't have that why, other people aren't going to really understand and aren't really going to connect with your audience as easy and as well. So you have to be able to provide consistent value. You also have to be able to create real content that you would want to see. And again, there's so much stuff out there, and if you're not really focused that well, you're going to find that you may not be getting the contact, you may not be able to get the connection. So you have to be able to create real content that you would want to see. Concept number 3 is deliver consistency and congruency. So making sure that everything aligns with who you are, your why as a business, your audience, what they're looking for, how they're actually developing things in the digital strategic space as well. And the last one is converting it. Right? And this is a question that I get an awful lot, but you don't always need to produce something that is new. Okay. And that's the whole idea behind my short little presentation, is that yes, it needs to be your own, of course, because we're not into copyright and plagiarism and that sort of thing, but not everything needs to be brand new. And I think that slows a lot of people down, because they're looking at, oh, well, today I have to write a new blog, or tomorrow I have to write a new blog. And it's not like that at all. It's actually kind of how do you amplify your content? How do you actually take your content and take pieces of it and actually build it from there? So quickly, in terms of tier one initial content, it's not that complicated, right? So download your video from Facebook. A lot of people have talked about using rev.com, which is a fantastic service to be able to create. What you want to do is create an SRT file for captions, as well as a TXT file for blogs and notes and that sort of thing. If you just do an SRT file, you're going to get stuck where there's a lot of timing information, that sort of thing. So upload the one audio file from your download, create an SRT, and then you can actually download a TXT file later. Now, what you want to do next is upload the captions to your Facebook video, upload the YouTube video with the captions to, Vimeo, YouTube, obviously, and LinkedIn, because LinkedIn is a great place that you can start to share your video content. The only caveat there is that you have to have it in under 10 minutes. And the last one in terms of tier one content is looking at how you can create articles. So what I typically do is after a BeLive break, after my BeLive BeLive show, what I do is I create a short articles on on Facebook notes, on LinkedIn articles, on Medium. You can also post it to your blog. You can also add the article link back to your Facebook Live video as well, so that people who may have bounced upon your video later in the show, they actually can see that, hey, you're connecting it to your entire digital ecosystem as well. So keep that in mind. How do you do that? Now, in terms of secondary content, again, this isn't sort of the primary thing. This is what happens next. So what can you actually do to that content to leverage it, to make it work a little bit better? That sort of thing. So take a look at how can you create visuals from caption files. As I mentioned, you download them as a text file. So create a quote, create a memo, and that sort of thing. Look at using a podcast as well. I run a podcast where I use some sound bites from some of the guest interviews, and you can find those at breaking.digital. It's a simple little trick, but having a podcast allows you to reuse that material and then share and schedule your content from across your channels also. So finally, as we kind of wrap up, hopefully I can get into some questions. You're looking at tertiary content, that third level of content that, again, it's not super important, but you should have it because people are going to be able to locate you and find you down the road as well. So compile your episodes into a summit or an online conference like the BeLive TV conference here, which is fantastic. That gives people a great access to you and to your content and to your message that you're trying to deliver. Edit videos and audio as snippets, so taking out specific segments of a specific idea, a specific concept, and then you can even add bumpers to it, an intro and an outro. You can write a book as well. You can make a presentation and publish onto slideshare.net, and you can even create a webinar. So isn't that cool? That's all that I've got. Hopefully we've got time for a few questions. Thanks, Lawrence and Dorothy. Cool. Jeff, yeah, okay. Got a few comments there. So so basically you want to take a look at your content, making sure that, number one, you organize it. So don't feel that you have to do everything all at once. If you separate it, that's a great way to sort of be thinking more strategic about it. Take a look at your initial content, your secondary content, and then your tertiary content as well. And don't forget, how you actually deliver the content to people is by providing value, creating the real content, delivering consistency, and then converting it as well. You don't have to produce everything all the time. And I know that gets a lot of people sort of stuck because they are saying, well, how do I actually create a new piece every time? And it's not that hard to be able to take this information and be able to produce it and go from there. So it's been a fantastic. Who's up next? So here's actually a question from Hilda. Thanks, Hilda. Do you think it's okay to repurpose a Facebook Live on YouTube or a blog? Absolutely. So that's how you actually are able to leverage this content that you've produced. So sometimes you have to do a few little different things with it, but the obvious issue is, how do you actually do that? So yeah, download it from Facebook. You can sort of add the intros and the outros and that sort of thing as you get into it. But that's something simple that you can use. And if you're using LinkedIn, and again, this is where it's important to know your audience, if you can sort of cut it or edit it into 10 minutes or less, then upload that piece into LinkedIn, and then you'll be able to use it there. So it really depends on where your audience is and that sort of thing. So thank you so much for that question. How can you get in touch with me? Well, I'm pretty prolific on the web. You can Google search Doyle Buehler. I'm at Doyle Buehler. Let's see if I can get my name up there. Anyway, you can find me. Cool. It's slow sometimes. That's yeah, just Google me. There's only one of me in the world, so I'm pretty lucky in that regards. Happy to help you out. Happy to answer any questions and that sort of thing. So why do we get blocked on live shows? I want to continue enjoy communicating to learn my talks. That's from Sue. It really depends. I'm not sure why. Perhaps if there was a communication problem or something like that, that might be an issue with how do you actually get connected. Excellent. Thanks, Tina. Shout out to Tina. So many for all you today. Thank you. Yeah, for putting on an amazing platform. I've been using BeLive for, I think I signed up back in March, and it's been an interesting opportunity to kind of develop the platform and develop my show too. And that's sort of really where things have been going. It's one of those things that you really have to get into, and you have to be able to be consistent about it. So I've seen some people, they do a live and it's like a one-hit wonder kind of thing. They do a, you know, your street view or your car view or, you know, that sort of thing. And you see them once and then they disappear. So it's like, well, am I really better off for having listened to them as well? So keep in mind that you want to kind of build that consistency. You want to be able to see what's going on and deliver that value. Because if you're not consistent, again, people will forget about you. If you're not top of mind, people will forget about you. So you really can do that with your digital strategy as well. So that keeps things moving from there. So let's see. Thanks, Sushil, for the comment. Thanks, Tina Cook, as well. Let's see. Yeah, Roshun. Yeah, LinkedIn has been my challenge. It has been an issue, but for the business to business play, like that's a huge opportunity rather, to be able to implement video. And that's where you can take the Facebook Live through the BeLive programming and that sort of thing, and being able to use it in that marketplace as well. Because you can, of course, upload to YouTube and then share your YouTube link on on LinkedIn. But one of the issues there is that LinkedIn is obviously promoting their native video format, so that gives you an opportunity to say, "Hey, this is a specific format for LinkedIn." You do have to use your mobile device or an iPad or whatever the case may be. You can't obviously upload directly from the desktop, but you know what? It's not a big deal. So as long as it's 10 minutes or less, use your BeLive performance, use your Facebook Live performance, and actually put that in place as you go as well. And then it's again part to promote it. Also, you can't just put it up there and leave it there. So you have to deliver that consistency that I talked about as well. So, Antonio, why do you like BeLive TV? Great question. It gives you that integration that you don't necessarily have, because what it's really saying is that there is a lot of tools out there, right? And as you know, tools are tools kind of thing, but it's really how you use them. And if a tool can make your job easier, then that's something that you want to be able to implement. Because if you don't have a tool kit, right, it's no different than being a plumber or an electrician or something like that. If you don't have the right tools in your toolbox, you're not going to be able to do as good a job. So this is cool because Facebook has obviously some limitations with what they can use with live. Can you bring in extra people? No, you can't. Can you have extra text? No, you can't. That sort of thing as well. So that gives you the opportunity to say, the platform is video, but what else do I need to be able to support that value that I'm trying to deliver? And what do I need to support that to create my real value and my real consistency? And then again, how can I actually convert that? So it's not just a one-off piece. It's how can you actually implement the pieces into your entire digital ecosystem as you get into that. So thanks for the question. Let's see, we got some more here. Well, keep the questions coming. I'll keep going, Jeff, until I'll keep answering questions. Let's see. Cool. We got Steven. He's got it. If you want to throw that one up there, he's got a BeLive TV course on Udemy as well. So one of the things that's important to look out for is how can you actually learn to use the platform? And as we've seen from a lot of the speakers here, it's not that hard. So if you're just kind of watching the video to seeing, well, should I jump in or should I not type thing, you know, it's not that difficult. And there's a great support network on Facebook groups, as well as sort of dealing with any of the tech troubles or issues that you might have along the way as well. But if you want to take a course, as mentioned in the comments, you'll be able to find the link there. Take a look at the course to see, you know, can I actually put these pieces together? And do I need specific outcomes or specific hardware or that sort of thing? But again, it's pretty easy. It's there's not too much to worry about. It's just a matter of, you know, clicking a few buttons and seeing what works and going from there. All right, cool. So what else we got going on here? Thank you for all the amazing questions. Yes, BeLive, sorry, I saw one flip by there. Does BeLive record the video so you can upload to YouTube directly after the stream is over? Yes, and that's how you, that's the cool part. You do have to go into Facebook to download the video. You can't download it directly from BeLive, but that's where you build that consistent content across your ecosystem, is making sure that you have all those pieces everywhere. And so yes, you do have to go into the actual video and download it. And one of the things too is that I just want to talk quickly about this, but the BeLive community itself, there's a specific group where people who are doing working with BeLive and using it as a tool, and if you're using the software, you're automatically eligible for that. And then there's obviously the public Facebook group as well. And what that does, what the group does, is it's actually helped me sort through some of the initial troubles or problems. Like for some reason, sometimes Facebook doesn't allow you to download or get to the edit section of the video or that sort of thing. So it's a great group that you can actually ask specific questions in terms of how do I do this? This isn't working. I need to fix this. You know, what can I do in this case? So keep that in mind. So they've got a fantastic support network in terms of putting things together and how you can actually get help and go from there. So cool. What else we got here? From Rishun, I sure will do that via BeLive because my space is B2B, not B2C. And that's perfect, right? B2C, it doesn't really matter. Again, you still want to look at how do you deliver your content? How do you actually, again, create that consistency? And how do you make it last for a long, long time? So it doesn't really matter if you are B2C or B2B or both or whatever the case may be. It comes out to your ideas and your insights that are really important in terms of how do you actually produce that value and how do you actually, you know, connect with your users and the things that you're being able to produce from there. So the important thing though is to help discover, as you do it a few times, you'll find out, okay, well, where's my audience? What are they watching? Even what times are good as well. And what I've found is that I create a schedule of like I mentioned, 3 shows a week. And what I've done is I've said, okay, Monday at 2 p.m., I'm talking digital strategy. Wednesdays at 2 p.m., I'm talking digital leadership with a special guest. And then Friday at 2 p.m., I'm talking about specific questions or challenges or that sort of thing. So people will start to get into this consistency that, oh yeah, Doyle, he's coming online at 2 p.m. on Wednesday. So it's like a TV show, right? And that's really what you're wanting to produce as well. Is an actual TV show. All right, Sue, we got a question here. What does B2B and B2C mean? Yeah, sorry. Business to business. So that would be if you're working with businesses that are, again, working with consumers, and B2C is business to consumers. So sorry for the slang. So B2C is if you're dealing directly with a specific audience, with a specific group of consumers, and business to business would be if you're dealing with specific businesses like insurance agencies or, you know, insurance companies or grocery stores, whereas the grocery store would be sort of a business to consumer. So they would then deal directly with the consumer as well. So it depends on the business model that you have. What is a good platform to use to have transcript subtitles on my video? The one I use, there's 2 ways to do this. There's actually a couple. I've started to play with one called Trint.com, which is, it's kind of using artificial intelligence, and what it does is it gives you the ability to it takes some of the transcripts and then you can quickly review it and that sort of thing, which is a good idea because then you can see it, you can go through with it. And then rev.com as well is a really good tool, and they're very fast. For a 10-minute video, it takes about 2 hours or 3 hours sometimes if you get them at a good time, and then you can quickly upload the SRT files. So awesome. And I see somebody's joined me.
Yes.
Cool.
Thanks, man, for hanging in there. We ran into a guest running behind, but thanks for filling in there. I really appreciate it, Doyle.
Yeah, my pleasure. No, happy to.
Awesome. Well, hey, look, further ado, I think she just popped in, so this is good. This is good timing. Every time I pop on the camera, well, she popped back out. So let's wait a minute here. We'll be all good in the hood in a minute. But Doyle, thanks for all the information.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, appreciate it, my brother.
Yeah, no problem whatsoever. Thanks, Jeff, and happy birthday to all you guys.